They're calling it artificial intelligence. It's got people running around like crazy. Is it useful for writers? Hello world. This video is inspired by a question from a viewer. The question is about ChatGPT, a chatbot. It runs on an impressively powerful language model. Essentially, when you write to it, the bot writes back. There's a lot of potential here for writers. The question is, what do you think about using ChatGPT as a writing tool? How much of it is your work? It's a great question. So in this video, I'd like to share some thoughts about all this AI hype. I'll show you some things that writers can do with this and some tips on how to get good results. First, let's talk about this so-called artificial intelligence in general. Is this stuff actually intelligent? Recently, this question was posed to Noam Chomsky. Known as the father of modern linguistics, Chomsky has spent decades working in the cognitive sciences at places like MIT. If anyone would know artificial intelligence on site, it would be him.
It's helpful, but not a real understanding the world. As far as understanding the nature of language or any other cognitive process, I literally can't think of anything that's been contributed.
The whole video is worth watching. It's a great conversation. One of the concerns about these supposedly intelligent systems is that they cannot consider the difference between what is real and what is not real. It says so right on the tin. ChatGPT warns you that it doesn't understand reality. Okay, so this thing they're calling artificial intelligence is not real artificial intelligence. We humans may get confused or deceived at times, but when we use language, we're describing reality as we perceive it or as we imagine it. These systems cannot perceive at all. So they have no concept of reality and they cannot imagine, but it is not intelligence. Debate this in the comments if you like, but let's move on. Now that we've cut through some of the hype, I do think that in many ways this stuff is actually interesting. So I'd like to show you first the basics. You give it a prompt, it writes a response. So for example, your prompt could be, please write a limerick. Then it writes a limerick. I probably could have written a better limerick, but whiskey is expensive. At least the good stuff is. I like the authentic Irish kind. The prompt doesn't have to be that simple though. I think we're also accustomed to search engines. You type one thing and you get one thing back. Sure, the one thing that you get back is a whole lot of links, but that's about it. Writing dialogue. A chatbot is of course conversational. As a writer, you can tell ChatGPT to play the role of a character and create a dialogue or a script together. In this oddball example, I gave it the role of a door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman who also happens to be a member of a vacuum cleaner worshipping cult. I got back some amusing results. Do you ever get writer's block in the middle of a thought? One thing you can try with ChatGPT is to leave the thought unfinished and to use that as the prompt to try some possible solutions. If you don't like that solution, you can try it again and again and again, with variant results each time. You can control the variety too. More on that later. Maybe you've written a draft, you don't like the way it sounds, or you want to try it in a different style, maybe more formal, or more casual, or more technical, or even at a different grade level. One thing you can do with ChatGPT is to rephrase. This kind of instant rewriting can be very helpful. For example, if you just need a quick summary or you need to describe it in a different way, perhaps for a different audience. And that's just a few things that writers can do with ChatGPT. Write clear prompts. It's important to be specific and to include plenty of detail when you're working with ChatGPT. The more information you give it, the better the output. Trust me, it's worth the effort. Remember, it's a conversation. If there's something you'd like to add, remove, or change, you can describe that and ask for more or a different version. Play with the settings. Let's talk about the ChatGPT playground. The playground is where you can fine-tune the parameters for your writing. You can tweak things like the maximum length of a response or the amount of randomness or repetition. It's fun to mess around with to get a sense for how things work. RTFM. If you're the type of person who likes to read the freaking manual, well, you're in luck. You can acquire information and learn from the docs and the examples. I'll leave it to you to find one of the little Easter eggs in there. For any poets in the audience, look for the analogy inventor. Enjoy. There are other apps. ChatGPT is all the rage right now, but it is far from the only game in town. GPT, the language model, has been around longer than this chatbot. GPT powers a whole lot of new writing apps. Many of these are tailored to specific kinds of writing. I might do some reviews of those apps later. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. ChatGPT is so popular that it crashes from the overwhelming demand. There's less hype around the other apps, so they don't crash like this. Wow, so that's a lot already. But it's only the first part of the question. What was the second question again? Oh, there it is. How much of it is your work? It's a good question, acutely insightful. I suppose there are a few ways to think about this. The language model is trained on a huge collection of examples from other writing, texts in the public domain, a whole lot of the internet, and so on. The responses it gives are based on what seems likely learned from these examples, and it's a bit like a collage. In one respect, if you make a collage, you get to say that you are the author of the collage. But it is still a collage. Is the whole thing your work? Well, no, but that's okay. You didn't make the component parts, but you did make some authorial choices about their combination. You permitted some things to fall together randomly and ruled out other possibilities. Those things that Bob Ross likes.
Because I'm not kidding when I tell you we don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. Cool thing that you do, you can learn to use.
Unlike with a collage, though, ChatGPT cannot say where the pieces came from. So with the pieces it gives you, you'll need to use real judgment. This is especially important if you write nonfiction with it. When you write with ChatGPT, is the whole thing the work of the AI? Well, no, it shouldn't be. You need to make it your own. And when you do, you can take credit. If you have the skills and the equipment, you could train the language model on your own writing. That could make the results even more your own. I would say that you shouldn't consider the work of ChatGPT to be that of an author. On this, I agree with Richard Sievert, who is the director of a science publisher, interviewed for an article in Nature. Authors take legal responsibility for their work, so only people should be listed. If only people can be named as authors, and I agree, then you should list the robots in the acknowledgements. Speaking of acknowledgements, the question that prompted this video came in via the Discord server that I set up to go with this channel. It's a laid-back hangout for smart conversation about writing, tech, or whatever we're nerding out on these days. Playing around with making ridiculous emojis. No spoilers, but you could say they have to do with a certain anthropomorphic implement. If any of that sounds like fun, look for a link in the description, and I'll see you there. I tried to get ChatGPT to come up with clever things that the letters AI could stand for. It did a terrible job. So I asked a few of my friends and they knocked it out of the park. Thank you, friends. You know who you are. And thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, show your support with the like button, subscribe for more, and with the bell button, you'll never miss a thing. See you next time.